right, so today we are going to talk about solving absolute value inequalities. Okay, so you'll be really surprised to know that an absolute value inequality is an inequality that contains a what? Yeah. Okay. As you're writing this down, I would like you to be aware that this is our last section of chapter 2, and we are working towards a test on Thursday. Why? Why?
I got an appointment.
Okay, and we'll take it Friday. Okay. Next week, we're going to be taking our midterm, which is the CSA. It's the middle of the semester. Next week, because we have conferences next week. Yeah. Right now, Tuesday, Wednesday. It'll be a 2-day midterm. Okay, I am not sure if everybody heard Estelle's question and my answer. Colin, quiet.
What?
Estelle asked what day the midterm was. Right now, my plan is Tuesday and Wednesday. It'll be 2 parts. Okay, it'll be some multiple choice and it'll be some like short answer. Okay, did that answer your question?
No.
What's your
I
question?
was gonna ask, what do we do if I can finish my math test for late math?
It's done. Okay, all right, now this absolute deviation, it sounds really weird, but all you need to know that it's the absolute value of x minus a given value. What we are going to focus on is how to solve an absolute value inequality. So we learned about compound inequalities Thursday and Friday. Okay, that's what you just turned in a worksheet for. We worked on those and or inequalities. Okay, if you have an absolute value inequality, you have a compound inequality. Okay, so we need to figure out when you have what and how to solve it. Okay, do you remember so flashback. If I had the absolute value of x minus 3 equals 8, what did we do to solve that? Who can raise their hand and tell me? Colin.
Do plus 8.
Nope, not yet.
Oh, I'm at plus 3.
Nope, not yet. Peyton? Oh yeah?
You split it off into 2 equations, one positive, one negative.
Yeah. Okay, in this case, x minus 3 equals a positive 8, x minus 3 equals a negative 8, because remember, the absolute value of 8 and the absolute value of negative 8 both equal 8. So we split it up into 2 equations. So guess what? When we have an inequality with an absolute value, we're going to split it up into 2 inequalities. Okay, so here are the rules right here. Okay, if we have this inequality right here, if we have an absolute value that is less than a number, then we're going to split it off into this. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is just with your highlighter, highlight this for me. But I feel like it's not going to really make sense unless we like talk through how I'm getting those 2 separate things. Okay, so for right now, just highlight. And then off to the side here, I'm gonna write down something that just feels a little bit of what? Nope. And we're back.
You're recording that.
Yep.
Hope you know how to edit.
Okay, here we go. If we have an absolute value that is less than a number, so write that down. First of all, it's going to be an and compound inequality. And we are going to split it into two inequalities, right? That's what a compound inequality is. So what we're going to do is we are going to keep our inequality the same by writing AX plus B is less than C. And we're going to write an inequality where we switch, where we write AX plus B is greater than a negative C. Okay. So what did that switch mean? AX plus B, switch the sign, switch the sign. Okay. Guess what? We are going to do the same thing when we have this case right here. AX plus B is greater than C. Except when we have a greater than, our statement is going to be or. Okay.
Or guys.
But we are still going to keep the inequality the same by writing AX plus B is greater than C. Or we are going to switch by writing AX plus B is switch the sign.
Got it.
And from there, we've been solving these inequalities the past couple days.
So then from there, we just work on how we've been doing it.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So let me help you get going on these examples. We're going to do 4 examples together. There's a pink piece of paper piled at your table. Everybody take one. And I would like you to fold it like a book, where example 1 is your front cover. Yep. Leave your journal open because we're going to do some problems in your journal also. What? So yeah, because I want example 1 to be the front cover. Yes. Fold it like a book, where example 1 is the front cover. Okay, and we're back. All right, here we go. It's amazing that your water just spilled.
Well, actually, I was opening it up like this on accident.
On accident. There's some paper towels up there. Okay, so let's write right here that the absolute value of x is less than or equal to 12. Now look at your notes. If it's, well, hold on. So now we need to determine our two new inequalities, okay? So we're gonna keep ours the same for the first one, but then we're going to switch the sign for our second one. Okay. Holden, according to our notes, if we have a less than sign, do we have an and or an or? We have an and. So we have x is less than or equal to 12 and x is greater than or equal to negative 12. Okay, now if we have an and statement, we can squish this together like a sandwich. X is less than or equal to 12 and greater than or equal to negative 12. Like it's totally okay to do that. Okay, So Gavin, I want you to pick a number that is less than or equal to 12 and greater than or equal to negative 12. 10. So if we come up here and we plug in 10, is the absolute value of 10 less than or equal to 12? Okay, good. I just want to make sure that we at least pick a number from that interval and we check it. Make sure that we have our signs going the right way. Okay. So now here's negative 12. Here's a positive 12. And there's our number line. Okay, let's go ahead and open up your book, and let's look at example 2. We have the absolute value of x minus 1 is greater than 5. So the first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that our absolute value is all by itself. Is it? No. So what do we need to do to both sides, Avery? We need to add 1 to both sides. Okay. So if we add 1 to both sides, we have the absolute value of x is greater than 6. Well, our two inequalities, we're going to remove the absolute value bars and keep everything the same. Yes. What? They are in different directions, so that works. Now, we don't actually need to solve anything because we have no algebra to do. So I'm just going to write this in the reverse order. X is less than -6 or X is greater than 6, just so I have them in the order of like the smaller number and then the bigger number. Okay, but you wouldn't necessarily have to switch that around. Okay. Let's just make sure that we agree that this is our interval. So Anna, pick a number that is less than -6. -7 is the absolute value of -7 minus 1 greater than 5. Well, what's the absolute value of -7? Is 7 minus 1 greater than 5? Okay, good. Or x is greater than 6. Estelle, give me a number greater than 6. 7. The absolute value of 7 minus 1 greater than 5 is 7 minus 1 greater than 5. Okay. Okay, so then here's my graph. X is less than -6, X is greater than +6. Do you have a question? Amelia? Why is it an or statement? We know it's an or statement because our original problem is the greater than sign. Correct. Okay. All right, let's go to example 3. Example 3, we finally get to do some algebra after we split up our two inequalities. Okay, now question, is our absolute value isolated on one side of the, okay, and it is important that it's on the left side. So we have the absolute value alone on the left side, okay? So there's really nothing else that we need to do. Okay, so now let's split it up into the two inequalities. Remove the absolute value bars, and we're going to keep the inequality the same. Then we're going to remove the okay. Now we have two different things we need to solve. Okay, now we need to actually solve these. We have x plus 5 is less than 9 and x plus 5 is greater than -9. Okay, what do we need to do to both sides of this inequality?
Oh, we gotta subtract
We
5.
need to subtract 5 from each side. So x is less than 4. And we need to subtract 5 over here. So x is greater than 14. Okay. Didn't I write negative 14? I meant negative 14, okay? Now, since this is an and statement, we can make a sandwich. X is less than 4 and greater than negative 14. It is. Okay. Colin, give me a number between negative 14 and positive 4. Okay. Is the absolute value of 1 plus 5 less than 9? Okay, good. So here's our graph. Okay, I have one more example that I would like to do together, and then I want to give you an example to do from your student journal. Okay? All right, so example number 4. But there's, I think I drew in a 2. Like that. Yeah. I decided I wanted to make it just a little bit more beefier. Okay, so first of all, is the absolute value all by itself on the left?
No.
No. Kane, what do we need to do to both sides? Divided by 2. Okay, so if we divide both sides by 2, we get the absolute value of negative 6x is greater than or equal to 30. Okay, now the absolute value, Colin. Okay, now the absolute value is by itself on the left. Let's split this into 2 inequalities. We have negative 6x is greater than or equal to 30. We also have negative 6x. We're going to switch the sign, so switch the sign. Okay. Since our absolute value is greater, but specifically greater, it's an or statement. Did you see what I just did there?
Oh,
I said greater. I said it funny because it could. I know how to say greater, but I was saying greater. Okay. Okay, just trying to help you out here, people. Forgive me. All right, so let's solve these. Okay. What do we need to do to both sides of this inequality, Abby? Divide by a.
negative 6.
Oh my goodness. What happens when we divide by a negative?
We're on negative 5.
Oh, thanks. What am I doing? What? What? What is wrong? Ah,
You didn't get it. Tablet.
it's not the tablet. Look, it's back. It's back. Where?
You're on the second one.
I don't need the negative.
I forgot the number.
Hey, this is what I want you to do. My voice squeaks. Oh, sorry about that.